Prater attempted the game-winning field goal from 59 yards out. Looks like a knuckler, and it's through. Lions win.
Once again, Washington's second half comeback bid falls short. We break down the good, the bad, and the ugly following Sunday's loss to the Lions. And welcome into the game. Julie Donaldson, Santana, and Zach Selby here with you. We certainly were hoping that this would be a different outcome, that we'd be talking about a victory. The way the game played out, we thought we could have been talking about a victory, but no, it is a 30-27 defeat as Matt Prater connected from 59 yards out to get the victory up in Detroit. Tana, give me your quick unfiltered reaction from this one, because I was kind of all hot and ticked off afterwards.
Another one bites the dust.
Yeah. But you're all calm now, though.
I have to be, because I asked coming into this season that, just give me hard-fought games. But on top of those hard-fought games, I want some W's. So it's just another one bites the dust.
I said coming in, I didn't think a measure of success was going to be in the win-loss column. But when they come back and they're that close and we feel like we've been that time and time and time again, you want a W to pay off for all that work.
I know, it really just comes down to execution, honestly, especially in the first half. And they were down 17-3 at the end of the first half. And that's, you're not going to be able to come back from games like that, especially when you're in the red zone and you miss a field goal and you have to punt after a sack and a loss after a double reverse. So when you have those opportunities like that, you got to take advantage of them, especially against teams that can get hot at times like the Lions.
And we'd sometimes maybe look past and look at their records and say, okay, this isn't a good team. This should be an easy one. But we have to remember on the other side, they're probably doing the same to us, as we now have 2 wins on the season. Okay, let's get to your BDO Zach stat of the week.
Yeah, so guys, if you've been living under a rock for the past couple weeks, guess what? Alex Smith is coming back and he made his first start against the Detroit Lions, and I didn't know what I was going to expect out of him. After not really playing that much for the past 2 years, but I wasn't expecting this. Career highs in completions, attempts, and passing yards. 69.1 completion percentage, second highest mark for any Washington quarterback in team history. 38 completions was the most for a Washington quarterback since 2013. And then on top of that, just for a little icing on the cake, he passed Ryan Fitzpatrick for most rushing yards by a quarterback, and then Jim Hart for 30th all-time in passing yards. Those are just icing on the cake. But I mean, back-to-back 300 yards, for the first time in his career. I can't wait to see what he does next. 300 yards again, maybe? Who knows?
Well, we want a W next on top of that.
Yeah,
that's what we want. So let's dive deeper into his play. This week is Smith's read progression is presented by FedEx. Talk about some of the positives that you saw from Alex. What did you see from him?
Being a receiver, one of the positives that jumped off the screen to me is that, we can talk about the numbers. That's amazing. But when you look at 6 different receivers that caught 4 or more passes, that allows you to believe that every time I step on this field, I have an opportunity to make a difference as a pass catcher. So it was at times that you would hope that he would just say, hey, let me get rid of it. But he was sticking in there, and then that's another credit to him, knowing that he's probably not as mobile as he once was. He only gave up 2 sacks. I think as a team, he only gave up 2 sacks, but he was doing the best he could to find guys at the right given time.
All right, well, just as Smith was able to take control of the play and make adjustments, you have options with your shipments. Use FedEx Delivery Manager to help you take more control over your residential deliveries. So there's also some other good points that we can probably take from this if we're going to talk about the good. What about the play of Antonio Gibson, J.D. McKissick, the running backs?
Yeah, oh my goodness. Antonio Gibson has been a touchdown machine for the past few weeks, and he had 2 rushing touchdowns again this past week. Led the team in rushing again. And they've shown that he's learning. He's understanding how to play the running back position more frequently and better on top of that. And, they use him in a lot of different ways, but he led the team rushing in, like I said, but he's also caught 20 receiving yards as well. So I think whatever he does it well, and especially for a guy who didn't really play that much at Memphis at running back, he's shown what he can do, and he's another guy whose role is continuing to grow as the week go on.
4 touchdowns in the last 3 games. Also, you talk about time of possession. There was a point in the game, and it was early in the game, I was like, the offense might be really tired because they've been on the field at least 10 plus more minutes than Detroit, although the score reflected Detroit definitely in the lead. Does the offense get tired being out there for so long? You like the fact that they were really controlling time of possession. That's typically something we need to have them do.
You get tired, but you know that we're doing our job. We're still out here. We're still picking these guys apart, and you're giving your defense a chance to recoup and get that extra or that needed, rest. So you never think about it because you're so involved into the play. It's just next play every time you make one.
And we have to get now to the bad because, well, they did not get the victory. So while we want to sing the praises of what Alex Smith did, it didn't result in the win. Yes, they were on the field. The defense probably, needed to do a little bit more. Once again, a little bit of a slow start to them as well. They didn't create as many turnovers as we've been anticipating and wanting.
Yeah, honestly, it comes down to executing. It's pretty simple. I mean, and we talked about this earlier. I mean, when you get in the red zone, you have to score. Especially, this is an NFL team you're going against. You can't take, say, oh, well, I'm just going to come down here and see what happens. Like, you have to go in there intending to score every single time. When you miss a field goal and you miss, an opportunity to score a touchdown, I mean, Rivera and a lot of the players have said there was 9 points on the field that they just left out there. And, if you look at that, well, that's pretty much the game. Honestly, I mean, if they go out there and score and take advantage of those opportunities, you look at the stats, 3 out of 4 trips does look okay, but then you also consider, like, hey, there's those big ones that they missed were massive in terms of building momentum for the rest of the game.
And what about some of the explosive plays they keep giving up on defense, too?
I mean, he talked about, the massive momentum. I want to go back on that because that's something that I looked at. These slow starts, you can't just put it all on the defense. Offensively, when you have a chance to score and you don't, just like, we had a reverse with 2 yards to gain. Why? Who are we fooling? We don't need that. Let's go downhill. And then we lose another what? We lost 30 yards in 2 plays. We get sacked. You can't even kick a field goal. That right there alone would take out the momentum or take the air out of your defense. Then now your defense going back on the field saying, nah, we don't even get any points out of that. So that, to me, I think some of these times when we were looking at our defense and saying, well, our defense are getting up to a slow start or our team is getting up to a slow start, we have to give a little credit, to our offense not doing what they're supposed to do when the time is given.
And then I'm going to go with the ugly. I'm just going to say this, that 15-yard penalty that Chase Young had at the end of the game that put them in field goal range. I think overall that was just the way to cap it all off. Look, they didn't force a turnover. I think that's something else that we really want. And only 1 sack. We expect more out of this team on that.
Yeah, really do. And credit to Chase Young. I mean, he came up to Rivera and immediately apologized for it. And, if I know anything about Chase Young for the past few weeks, that he's a very cerebral and intelligent guy. So I guarantee you that he's killing himself on the inside for this, but he's also not going to kill himself too much. He's going to say, okay,
move on.
Yeah, exactly, move on. I guarantee he's not going to make the mistake again.
Hey, when we come back here on The Game, the Bengals are up next. We're going to put together our to-do list in order to finally get that W.
It's time to go Toyota. With a great selection of rugged 4-wheel drive and year-round all-wheel drive vehicles. Starting with the adventure-ready RAV4. Or any of the 10 models to choose from at your Toyota dealer. Including for the first time ever, Camry. Now available with all-wheel drive. Learn more and shop deals on buyatoyota.com. See your Toyota dealer, your 4-wheel and all-wheel drive specialist. Toyota, let's go places.
DC has a home for the greatest hits of all time.
That would be Michael Jackson for me.
DC's greatest hits.
Madonna.
Billy Idol.
Live here.
Cyndi Lauper.
Bon Jovi.
94.7.
Blondie. The Eagles.
The Drive.
Free healthcare. Hundreds to more than $1,000 per month in disability compensation and tens of thousands for college tuition. These are just some of the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs benefits that may be available to veterans. VA is focused on customer service like never before. Choose VA and see why veterans' trust in VA reached an all-time high. Claim the benefits you've earned at choose.va.gov.
My all-time favorite football memory was my senior year of high school in the Great American Football Rivalries, Union versus Jinx in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I hit the game-winning extra point in overtime and took off running down the field. Teammates came, tackled me, celebrated. Definitely something I'll never forget. What has since passed that though is whenever my son Bo, my daughter Harper will bring me a ball whenever I'm out punting. So pretty crazy how things change, but those are definitely my favorite football memories.
That was Tress Way with his favorite football memory, presented by Comcast Xfinity. We have the Bengals coming into town. You can't look past them because we've already learned you can't look past any team. We've tried that with the Giants, tried that with the Lions. You can't do that. Every game on Sunday is going to be a hard-fought one. Give me your to-do list. What do you need and want to get from this team in order to make sure that they get that W?
I think we have to play tighter on the back end. It's too many times I'm watching that front end and I'm looking for these guys to make a play on the quarterback, but we're giving these guys so much room at the corner position. I'm seeing guys 7 to 8 yards off. I can run hitches all day, regardless of how disruptive our guys are up front. So I need to see the same kind of attitude up front and energy that these guys have been given, because now teams are saying, hey, let's max protect and still pick these guys apart with short passes, or even, give them a head nod or two and hit them down the field, because they don't believe that we can cover anybody man to man. So we have to be tighter at the cornerback position.
Well, I'm looking honestly at the front end. I mean, I'm looking at this defensive line and pressuring Joe Burrow, because he's lived up to that #1 overall pick, but this man also gets put on the ground a lot. And we talk a lot about how good this defensive line is, and it is, honestly. I mean, coming into that game, 4th in the league in sacks, that's great and everything, but if you look at the way they're playing, their pass rush is very inconsistent. I mean, you have 8 against the Eagles in week 1, then you have 6 against the Cowboys, and then you have 1 that didn't even come from the defensive line yesterday. So I think and that kind of goes to your point, if they're able to pressure Joe Burrow, they're going to be able to give the secondary a little bit of extra time to maybe make a play or get an interception or force an incompletion.
Part of it, we were expecting a whole bunch of sacks this season. They haven't been coming since like that first week when we started off with 8. They've been teetering off. Now, we have continually had a sack in a game, but they've come a lot on the blitz. Do they need to blitz more?
Not really, man. It's to be expected.
Okay.
Look, our defense is, like you said, as advertised. These guys are getting more, double teams, and they're finding ways to bring in a double tight to make sure that these guys have a hard time getting at the quarterbacks. What we have to do as a defense is adjust. The guys up front is causing these guys to bring in different packages. So now, like I said before, look, as a receiver, I was one of the best in our division. And it's not, you never was going to give me 5 yards for me to get a clean release. If you're giving me any receiver in this league with a clean release with nobody sitting up there trying to check him, he's going to eat. He's going to have time to get into his route. We have to put a little more bump and run out there. And now, if you bring those guys, whether they're being max protected or not, that quarterback going to have to get rid of that ball, and that receiver is not going to have a chance to beat you as clean as he has been doing before, or has some of these other teams has been doing.
And what we're going to see is the #1 and #2 go off against each other. Joe Burrow taking 1, Chase Young going #2. So maybe this is the game that Chase can say, all right.
Maybe, I think so. Joe Burrow, like I said, is good QB, 9th in the league in passing yards. I mean, 12 touchdowns, it's 5 interceptions. Yeah, like you said, he can throw for 300 yards if you give him the chance, which is why, back to my original point, rush the quarterback and get him on the ground to create some sacks and get that offense off the field, get your offense back on the field, and just score some points.
Yeah.
Sounds so simple. That's
If
easy.
only.
We can always make it sound so simple as we sit back from the couch. Hey, look, we know it's rough. We understand. We're trying to give you some positives during all the losses, and there are plenty to take. But the problem is it's not translating in the win column. We're close, though. I believe this team is trending in the right direction. We're getting a lot more from the offense than we anticipated. The defense is still coming together. That's it for this edition of The Game. For Santana Moss, Zach Selby, I'm Julie Donaldson. Thanks for watching. We will see you once again next week. You can find us on our website and YouTube. Subscribe, like, and leave a comment, because we read them and we'll make sure we give you what you want to see in these shows.
Don't let the comfort fool you. Don't let the attention to detail lead you to believe that a Honda is a delicate machine. You'd be wrong. Underneath every surface that carries a Honda badge, there has always been the capacity to amaze. From the core of everything we have ever built, all the way to the top of where you want to go. Rise to the challenge with the rugged performance of the Honda Pilot, Passport, and Ridgeline.
The landscape has changed, and not for the last time. The rules of business are being reinvented with a more flexible workforce, by embracing innovation, by looking not only at current opportunities, but ahead to future ones. Resilience is the ability to pivot again and again for whatever happens next.
People who know BDO.
FanDuel's simple, intuitive app makes it easy to get closer to the game. But to get Dan even closer, we've arranged for him to experience a genuine James Harrison tackle.
Wait, what? Tackle? Can we not do the tackle?
If he doesn't tackle you, he doesn't get paid.
Doesn't get paid. Oh,
FanDuel. Join today and play free all season long.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, I know it's your day off, but the meeting deadline got moved up. And I know you...
What are you doing? Look at your Central. It's got everything you want, and you can cut loose in it. Oh, and it's got all these fancy features, so I know we'll help you stay safe. This is what I taught you. Never settle.
Hey, I prepped Joe, and he's good to go.
Refuse to compromise. The radically redesigned all-new Nissan Sentra. Get a low $199 per month lease on Sentra, or get 0% financing for up to 84 months on 14 models.
It's all-wheel drive season, and your local Honda dealers are bringing the best deals of the year. It's clearance pricing during the Happy Honda Days sales event. Dash through the snow to a rugged and adventurous Honda. Check out the entire all-wheel drive truck and SUV lineup. CRV, HRV, Ridgeline, Pilot, and Passport, with features like Honda Sensing, Magic Folding Seats, and 3 different driving modes. Clearance pricing is here, but it won't last long. Don't miss clearance pricing at the Happy Honda Days sales event, now at your local Honda dealer.